Hey guys, Dr. Dex here. Today I wanted to do a follow-up review on the DeWalt cordless air compressor. So if you like what you see today, please don't forget to click that subscribe button and hit the bell icon to be notified when we're putting out new content. All right, so the last time we reviewed this, all we did was pump up some tires with it. I had it at my home shop, and I had a air hose, and I had a chuck for some air to fill up tires, and it did a great job doing that. So what we've done is we put a 12 amp hour battery on this baby, and we've already aired it up. It takes 2 to 3 minutes for this thing to air up, so it takes a little bit of time, just so you know. I'm gonna review a couple features. The model number is DCC2520, and there's an on-off switch right up here, right up front, that you can turn on and off. There is an adjustable pressure regulator right here. It's a 2.5 gallon capacity, so you can hear it bleed off. But for today's test, we're gonna leave that baby all the way open. Okay, it's not super loud, but it's still an annoying compressor sound. Nowadays, we do use a lot of cordless type nail guns, but I like this particular gun here, this DeWalt pneumatic gun. It holds a lot of nails, but it's one of the shortest throws I've ever found on a nail gun. In a short head, you can get this into tighter spots, which when you're framing decks and you're using 2x10, you're using deep joists, and you have narrow widths, like if you're 12 inches on center, it's really hard to get a full-headed gun into that space. And that's why I like keeping this in my trailer at all times, because all the cordless guns, their heads stick up about an extra 4 to 5 inches. You can't get them into tighter spots when you're trying to nail into joists. You're knocking the tops. So I thought this would be a great example of a gun that we'd want to run off this little cordless compressor, and I don't know what's going to happen. I haven't done this yet. This is completely unsolicited, and I just wanted to see what this thing's capable of and how many shots are we going to get off before this thing starts ripping, and how many more shots are we going to get off before it can't keep up, and then how long do we have to wait for it to air back up. Okay, so let's see what happens when we start doing that. I just think any other features, there is a gauge on here. It kind of lets you know how much air is in the tank. Right now we've got about 130 pounds, maybe 140 pounds. It's gonna kick back in at 90, okay? So here's my first impression using this nail gun on this cordless air compressor at full max pressure, okay? Let's just start by nailing some joists together. This is actually a pretty easy task. I always like to cut my boards in. Let's see what happens with that. Acts just like a normal nail gun. Okay, that was pretty good. But the one thing that I do a lot, and again, we're at full pressure, so I'm gonna save that. We're at full pressure. I'm now down to about 110 pounds on the gauge. We're still asking max pressure, so we're probably delivering 110 pounds right now per shot. But a lot of times what I want to know is how well can this compressor keep up if I toenail something into a beam, because we do that all the time, okay? And with our cordless guns, it doesn't sink a nail. So it kicks in at 90 pounds. Okay, so I went ahead and ripped a few nails, and none of them really fully subset into the joist that was going into the beam. These are 3 1/4 inch nails. I'd say that's pretty accurate on a standard air compressor. That would probably drive those all the way in. Okay, let's continue though. Now I'm gonna ask a lot. I'm gonna wait for this to completely air up, and then I'm just gonna start shooting nails into this until they start sticking out. I just want to see, for giggles, like how much can I really rely on something like this if it was on a job site. So I'm gonna turn this back on and we'll get back at it. Okay, so now I've got a full tank of air, I've got a full rack of nails, and I'm just gonna keep shooting this thing until I feel like it's a waste of time, because this isn't gonna keep up with me. I already have a few nails shot in here, so this is gonna be a little bit of a ridiculous test. I'm just gonna keep firing nails off for a minute to see what happens. I expect the first few will go in great, and then I expect this thing to slow down, so here we go. Okay. So I was able to wrap off about 25 or 30 nails before we really started losing pressure. My honest opinion on this is if you're in a pinch, this really isn't a bad way to go, because technically, if you have a little more time on your hands, you could let this thing air up and you could get full penetration. Like the first 5 nails that we shot have full penetration into the side of this joist, right? That's pretty good. I mean, you can't ask for any better on any kind of a pneumatic gun. And this actually kept up better than what I thought it was going to. I was kind of surprised I was able to shoot that many nails before it started doing this. So I think the only other test that we really should do with this compressor, and again, it's going to be in a separate video, is actual job site construction, where I'm taking this compressor with this gun and this air hose, and I'm just starting to frame a deck with it. We are not at that stage right now. We're beyond that stage in our current build. So the next time that I catch you guys on a site where I'm framing, I will pull this out, and we'll just start framing with it, and we'll just see how it does. That's like a real world experience. This is actually a good telltale of what we're doing and how this performs. But my only other question now is, like, can I frame a deck with it? And I can't give you a 100% answer. I would say probably yes. If I had to give you an answer right now, probably yes, but I'm not 100% certain. So the only other thing I want to do now is I want to pop a bunch of nails in this and see if it will, how many I can drive in here. I'm assuming more than this. I might run out of nails. I've only got a half a rack left, so let's just see if we can fire them all the way off in this thing. Okay, so my only gripe so far about this little air compressor is that it takes forever to pump back up. We've been cutting in between takes to let this thing air up, and it's a good 2 minutes in between from the time it kicks in to the time it kicks off. So it takes a little bit of time for it to air up. If you purchase this thing, you might be waiting a little bit in between when your compressor kicks in and you build up enough pressure to continue on with your nailing, okay? If you're using finish work or doing finish work with it, I think this is an excellent option if you have pneumatic guns and you need to do finish work. If you're using air tools, as far as like grinders and that thing, this thing would never work for you. So that's your spectrum right there. But just for giggles, I thought we'd fire off a bunch of nails. We have a full tank of air. I thought I'd go ahead and fire off a bunch of nails into a side end grain just to see what happens, all right? You guys ready? Whoops, am I ready? I got about 15 nails left. I'm gonna shoot them all. All right, so you can see the proof right there. Until you start kicking in that air compressor and until you keep firing, you can shoot as many end grains as you want, really. I think there's like 20 nails in there. We tore a deck apart like this once. Normally I wouldn't add this many nails in the side grain of anything, by the way, guys. Okay, so I'm becoming a believer in this little Pancake. I think there's a lot of good for it. I definitely am gonna use it to pump up tires. We already went through that video. I think when I'm at home and I need to nail something quickly, and I don't feel like drawing out the big air compressor, I'll definitely pull this out and use it. This was a 12 amp hour battery. It had a full charge on it, and I'm down to 2 bars. So if you're gonna wanna use this thing all day, you're probably gonna need a few batteries to run on it. I don't know though, it's still a pretty cool, like if you're in a remote area and you don't need a ton of air, then, or it'll run one gun most of the day, I think it's a good viable option for you. So hey guys, thanks for watching, I really appreciate it. If you like what you saw, or you got something out of this video, or you like the information we're giving you, or if you breathe, click that subscribe button and hit the bell icon to be notified when we're putting out new content right now, which is about 3 days a week. Don't forget to like our videos and leave a comment below if you have any questions, or leave a comment about how you feel about this air compressor. All right, guys, thanks for watching and have a great day.